Hey, everybody. Welcome to Ignited Live. I'm Charity.
And I'm Kathy.
Yes, we are.
We are live.
Yeah, we're live. She was just asking if we were.
I didn't know if you were going to be able to do it.
Oh, well,
You did, didn't
I
you?
did.
Yeah, you did. Well, do you ever have one of those days, I'm sure everybody does, where it just feels like the day goes so fast and it's so many things you're just doing
Going.
and sometimes it's not even that you're doing anything so much out of the norm, but your mind is focused on things.
It's busy.
Very busy.
Yeah.
Yes, it was like that. But it started out really cool. I had a phone call and someone shared a couple of dreams they had. And it was actually so impressive to realize or see how the Lord was preparing, through these dreams, what was coming. And I've said so many times that the Lord is the nicest man I know, and it's really true. He really is. I don't know anybody nicer than the Lord. And so just hearing the dreams, and I've said for a long time, when Peter stood up on the day of Pentecost and he began to say, these men are not drunk as you suppose, but they are filled, right? But he goes on to say what the prophet Joel said, that in the last days, your young men will dream dreams, your old men will dream dreams, your young men will see visions. So I know that the closer we get to those days, there's going to be an increase of dreams and visions, revelation. And so just hearing at the, start of the day, these couple of dreams and realizing how God prepared these people for what was ahead, right in front of them. Amazing.
Which is incredible.
Yeah. And then we had a voice message come in from someone that watches us here. Mm-hmm. They're in another country and they had a dream that they were visiting here and we all got to hug and meet, which is very precious.
Yeah.
Just to realize that I think sometimes things do happen in our dreams, which is very precious. But I believe there will be those sweet reunions that we have. And some we may not even meet on this earth, right? Yeah. But on the other side, yeah. But I was having to run around, just taking care of some errands. And I had one location where I was given a number and I had to just sit and wait and wait and wait. And it's so interesting because there was one employee there who was just walking around, checking with everybody, making sure everybody was, hearing their number or if they needed one thing or another. And she was taking care of some things. And each time she'd come by, I would just start to chuckle because she was so funny. And so she just stopped and she said, I know I'm circling, aren't I? But I realized just in that moment, it loosened up the people around me too. Yeah. And having, just I guess, watching our countenance. It wasn't so much fun just sitting there and waiting and waiting and waiting. Right. And it was quite a long wait.
But you learned how to make it fun.
Well, I think that the woman that works there actually was making it fun, just watching her. Yeah. But anyways, I was just reminiscing is partly when I was sitting there and driving that on Sunday, I had the opportunity to talk with someone that over 20 years ago, I think we figured out, he had taken some of my prophetic training. Yeah. Right? Yep. And so he stated that he wouldn't be where he's at today had he not been in my training.
Yeah, he actually said, your ministry saved my life.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And so today he's running a school of the prophets.
Yeah, which has been incredible.
And I didn't even know. So it was fun just to reconnect. And I didn't, remember. Of course, we've had so many people come through the school when we've done it, but I love how the Lord just puts you in places and you connect.
Mhm.
I mean, over 20 years,
Yeah.
there was a connection. But as we got talking, he mentioned Bob Jones.
Mm.
And so I said, well, I've got a story for you. So I told the story of the first time that I met Bob. Well, not actually met him, but I wanted to know who he was. And he ended up being in a meeting not too far from where we lived. And so Bob and I went, and we're sitting in this meeting, and it is packed. I mean, it is a packed house. And I can remember there's people, they have a bunch of leaders, I guess, sitting up on a platform, and they had the worship time and announcements. And throughout all the worship and the announcements, I'm trying to figure out which one is Bob Jones. I've heard about him. I don't know him. I didn't know what he looked like. And I had actually defended him at one point, and just when someone was speaking ill of him, I just said, I love Bob Jones. And after I said it, I thought, I kind of feel like I lied because I don't even know who he is. But so anyways, he's, at this meeting, and we decide to go. I'm trying to figure out which one is Bob Jones. The least likely person
That you would suspect.
that I would suspect
Uh-huh.
got introduced as being Bob Jones.
Mm.
And I was like, oh, a prophet can wear sweatpants? And
That one could.
that one could. Yes, he could, couldn't he? Well, he shared in that meeting, and I just remember turning to Bob, my husband at the time he was here, and saying, I don't get it. I don't understand what he's talking about. And I really didn't. I mean, like, I felt like, I'm way behind. I'm not getting it. But at the end, Bob wanted to pray for every person that was there. And there's a lot of people. And so we were just lined all the way up, and you would keep moving, and you would just come up, and you would raise your hands like this, and Bob would put his hands over yours and bless you.
Yeah.
Right. And I said, that's cool. I'll take the blessing.
Sure.
And so we get in line, and I'm first, and then Bob's behind me. There's
Your husband, Bob, because now there's two Bobs in this story.
Oh yeah, my husband, Bob. Yeah, he was behind me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I don't know, we were a long ways back in the line. So we had to wait and just, slowly shuffle up to where it's our turn. But before we got up there, Bob makes this announcement.
Bob Jones.
Bob Jones makes this announcement that he can always tell when an intercessor comes around because their hands turn purple. I'm telling you what, I was so taken back with, first of all, a prophet can wear sweatpants.
And now we're talking
And then,
purple.
well, even before that, I didn't understand what he was talking about when he preached.
Yeah. Well, I don't think you were the only person, because I've heard several people say, that he was very deep and they didn't understand where he was.
Oh, yeah.
It didn't make sense to them. Maybe years later, they can look back and see it, but not at the time.
But I didn't know that at the time.
Right. It was all new.
And so it was all new. And
Yeah.
I'm thinking, I don't know what am I missing? But then, your hands turn purple. So I turned to my husband, Bob, and I said, you're going in front of me.
I'm surprised you didn't just jump out of the line. Like, well.
Yeah, I don't know, but he did. He went in front of me. And so my husband put his, it came time for Bob, and Bob put his hands, he said, yes, you're an intercessor, but I can't say it the way Bob did. He had that Southern accent. So I'm next. I put my hands out, and I'm telling you what, this hand was purple. It looked like I had a purple glove on, and this one was white, like I had a white glove on. And I was like looking at Bob like, what in the world? And so Bob's calling over all these leaders that are there and saying, you've got to come and see this. This is a sign and a wonder.
Well, yeah.
Right.
You're like, what?
And I never even thought at the time, but later on, I thought they didn't stay those colors. What would have happened if they stayed?
Well, that would have been interesting.
That would have been interesting, right? But anyway, so he said she is called to be an intercessor in the body of Christ, but she's also called to be a teacher. And then he said a few other things. And anyway, so as I'm just reconnecting with this person who took my training over 20 years ago, here he's now running a school of the prophets. And he had a couple of guys in that knew Bob Jones very well. And I don't know, I was reminiscing today how we have sometimes just a piece in someone's life that they need to further their calling. And I'm thankful for, and I think about the people that have had a piece in my life that's furthered where I'm at. And I'm so grateful for it. Yeah.
Sometimes it might even take 20 years to find out, you know, exactly what the impact was.
It's really true.
And how significant it is. And really, I think, you know, that those stories are fun, and it's encouraging to hear both sides, I think, because you know, on the one side, if you're the person who is greatly impacted, you're getting to reconnect with a moment that, you know, only God could have orchestrated and shifted something in your life, because that's just not the direction you were headed. And then also reflecting on where you are currently and seeing how there's all these people that have connected you and whatever, but it all started when, you know, and you can kind of pinpoint that. And then, you know, on your side, it's exciting because you realize how you can be doing things. And like you said today, all the different things that needed to be done, and you're going through the day, and yet you have, oh, wait a minute, that was a moment that I got to share in somebody else's life. The Lord put me on assignment, and I may not even realized the significance of that until this moment.
I didn't know,
but you don't really remember.
No.
So it could be you did know at the time. I don't know. You know, you may have felt the significance of it.
Oh yeah. You know, there's been so many that have taken the training and prophesied to thousands of people.
Well, definitely over thousands.
And in the moment, you know, when you're ministering to somebody, yes, I will often feel a strong calling on someone, but to remember them, you know, 20 years later, where they're at. And this person traveled quite a distance to take the training. I didn't even realize that. And so anyways, it was fun.
I love the prophetic because it really just opens you up. If you let it, it'll open you up. I mean, I can think back to different times in my life where prophetic words have come, and it brought a shift in my thinking, or it brought a shift in circumstances, or it stirred faith in me to believe that something else was possible, that where I was right in that moment was good, but God had something a little bit more than I anticipated.
Yeah. It stirred in me, Chair. I know, I think it's Thursday night. We're ministering by Zoom in another country. And it just has stirred in me. You never know who you're ministering to, right? You don't know. We say that sometimes you're in a service, you don't know who's in your midst. Right. And just, I don't know, having that, the thoughts today of the whole conversation that took place Sunday, and then thinking we have this opportunity coming where we'll be ministering. It's in another nation. We're traveling by technology again, right?
Yeah.
But the one thing that I come back to that is so, I don't know, it feels like without love, everything we do is baseless. It's worthless, right?
Yeah.
And thinking about, we're called to love. And I know there can be, you know, we can disagree on all kinds of things, but just learning to love through everything that we come through. I don't know.
Well, I mean, even in that statement, we can disagree, but we can still love.
Yeah.
I think there's a to maybe like what we've been so accustomed to is cancel culture. And
Yeah.
if I disagree with you, it means that we don't need to, be talking at all. And perhaps there's times where that's necessary because, maybe there's something where someone is abusive or, certain
Mhm.
circumstances where it's just not healthy to stay in that. But I think in general, you're talking about, or at least we're talking about lower level things where you can get offended by something or you just really don't agree about a particular topic.
Yeah, like some people would say a purple hand and a white hand, that's just weirdness,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and so we can shut each other off,
Yeah.
even in those kind of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
But learning to love one another, I think
Yeah.
that's the key.
It is the key.
Yeah.
Yeah. And come April, we'll be doing a Dream Lab, which will be fun. So we'll be getting news out on that.
Yeah.
I think we're also going to working on a roundtable, which will be fun. So things are coming together.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
got to get you through school.
Yeah, I just have to get through school. That's really true. And if you would have seen me yesterday, hours and hours. Yeah, but I'm getting there.
Mhm.
I'm getting there. Yes.
Yeah. It's an intense program, but
Mhm.
you're doing it.
Do you know in Acts 2:22, it talks about Jesus was attested by God through signs, wonders, and miracles.
Mm.
If he was,
Yeah.
we should expect the signs, wonders, and miracles.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why not now?
Why not? Well, anyways, as we minister here on Ignited Live, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, we are speaking to the person who is joining us on one of those platforms. We may not know you personally. We may not even know your name, but we are asking the Lord to speak to those of you who are personally connecting with us on one of those platforms. And please, folks, put your name in, especially if you would like ministry, your name, and where you're from. It is always surprising to me to realize how many different locations we're all coming together. And my prayer is that we all feel the heart of God and the love of God for one another.
Mm. Yes. Also, check out our website, ignitedministries.org. You might have noticed a QR code on your screen. That is to take you, if you'd like to give to Ignited Ministries, by text. If you're in the USA, you can use text giving, follow that QR code. If you are abroad and you would like to, you can always use the PayPal link, which is on our website, ignitedministries.org.
And I just realized I'm wearing a t-shirt. That's what I wore today. We were in the 70s today. It was beautiful. So nice. Yes, it was.
Yes, we were walking and on my lunch break, and wow, I was like, this is really beautiful. It was like a perfect day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just saw Yori from Jamaica. Hello there, Yori. I had a quick flash with you, and I'm sure you've seen this before, where someone puts a pencil, behind their ear. And I knew someone that always had a pencil behind their ear, but they were always ready, geared up, whatever needed. They could just pull that pencil out, do whatever they needed to do. And anyways, I see you like on a mission. You are going to get things done. And there's a seriousness about this assignment ahead that the Lord is putting you on. And also a sense of just get it done. And I see the favor of God on you and the success of the Lord upon you.
All right. I saw on here on YouTube, Leslie Coetzee, I think that's how you say your last name, from South Africa. Leslie, I saw you standing and almost taking a step back, evaluating how things have been going and realizing that you need to reevaluate certain situations and ask the Lord for great wisdom to know how to be guided to move forward. And I really sense that the Lord is reassuring you, you don't have to be anxious or worried about it, but he will guide you each step of the way. It's like the scripture that talks about the steps of a good man or woman are ordered of the Lord, and the Lord is faithful to his word.
Jeanette from New Jersey. Hello, Jeanette. Glad to have you with us. There is so much like what I would say vision in you. You have, times of just daydreaming and thinking about what you would like to be doing or where you would like to be. And I really feel like the Lord is saying he's in some of those daydreams that you have. And some of it is vision that he's giving to you. There is a richness of the anointing that God desires to flow through you. And so I see God building you up in faith, building you up in confidence.
Cosima said, life is good. Awesome t-shirt, Kathy Campbell.
Thank you, Cosima.
Yeah. And then Heather Rinaldi said, yes, I got to connect with you guys over lunch in Syracuse after seeing you online for years. That was really fun. And yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And then Matthew Miles on Facebook said, hello, everyone. Matthew, I had a sense for you that there's a shift that's taking place. And while there are certain things that you felt like the enemy meant for evil against you, the Lord knows how to work it for your good. And there's a shift that's taking place and a sense of knowing even the direction that you're headed. And even there's some things that it's felt confusing, but I see clarity and I see a greater sense of knowing your purpose and what the Lord has put within you and finding fulfillment in that.
Deborah from London, UK. Deborah, I believe the Lord is depositing a tenacity in you, and it's like not letting go until you see the fullness of what God has spoken to you over your family, over your life. And there's, in Isaiah, it talks about give him no rest until he establishes. And I see that spirit of prayer and intercession overtaking you.
All right. Susan Green on Facebook. Susan, I had a sense for you that there's a determination that you've had to push forward and to keep going and not to feel as though you have to kind of, just kind of let go of things, but you are one that will persevere and trust the Lord, and you're not going to let go until, and the Lord has put that within you. And there's a greater sense of peace and grace to continue moving forward in what he's called you to do.
Okay. Maggie in Maryland. Maggie, there is it's like a good heart that you have, and a love for people and a desire to help. There really is a nurturing in you to be able to walk with people that need that strength and encouragement where they find themselves in, difficult times. You will be that friend that walks with them. And I see the grace of God on your life and the wisdom of God being poured through you.
All right, Carlos on Facebook from Madrid, but now in Newcastle. Carlos, I just had a sense for you that there's some situations around you that you could get caught up in the whole process and everything that's going in, because you definitely like to be involved. But I had a sense in a certain situation, learning how to just kind of hold steady, and that it's going to feel a bit like a whirlwind, a lot going on, but holding steady and learning how to navigate that whirlwind, if you will, and knowing that the Lord is with you and he's bringing some things and he's helping to settle things down around you, and you're going to find a greater ease and peace moving forward.
Okay, so Louise said, you've been a peace to many of us here in Myrtle Beach. Thank you. I've been recently rereading my prophetic words given to me by both of you. And Louise, we'll be with you, I think, in April, right?
Yeah,
April. Mm-hmm. But it's interesting because when I was reading what you wrote, Louise, there is something stirring of, the revival spirit. And I really believe the Lord is encouraging you and then there's something about even words, like words. You're reviewing prophetic words, but you understanding the significance of words. And I'm not sure what that's all about, but it's somehow connected with revival, and the Lord encouraging you to just keep on keeping on.
All right. Brian Barker from Wallington, New Jersey. Brian, I had a sense for you that you have been one that has stood firm in faith, and faith is going to a whole new place on the inside of you. And it's like the Lord is stirring something fresh within you to believe him and not to feel as though you're lacking, but that you would continue to push forward. And, it talks about in Hebrews that Abraham believed God and it was accounted to him for righteousness. And I had a sense that the Lord is really pushing something deeper within you, or pulling, I should say, something deeper within you to the surface of even what he has done, what he will continue to do, and that faith is being stirred with people around you, even because of what the Lord's doing on the inside of you.
Okay, Sarah from Phoenix, New York. Okay, Sarah, I remember many months ago, we were in a service and there was a guest speaker. We were just visiting this church, and the guest speaker had a prophetic word that someone had recently gotten an animal, and that God was going to use that animal to teach them things about how to handle people. I think was it in the body of Christ or just in general?
Just in general.
In general.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Charity had just, gotten this puppy with her brother. And she knew, and I knew at the time, God was speaking to her. And that has literally happened, where things that she's experienced with Winnie the dog has been an example to her of how to, walk with other people. I felt the same thing with you. Like there is something significant in God's creation in helping you to understand where people are at.
All right, Marty Kane from Iowa. Marty, I had a sense that I saw almost like you sitting at a desk, and some things laid out, decisions that need to be made, and that the Lord is your delight, and you've chosen to walk in that place of peace and understanding that he'll instruct you, he'll give you wisdom. There's clarity of purpose, and that you're not going to even pull back from what he's called you to do, but it's like full steam ahead. And I really sense that there's going to be a renewing of your mind, and there's something that there's been like a weariness, but the Lord is renewing, and he's causing that refreshing to be upon you.
Okay, Mary White, the Lord is faithful to you, and you have experienced the faithfulness of God. You've known that when he says the best days are in front of you, the best is yet to come, that you can hang on to that promise and understand and know that there are better days ahead. And I see the Lord pouring over you his light, his life, and his revelation.
All right, Shelly Reed on Facebook. Shelly, I had a sense that there's such a heart of intercession within you. You love to pray for people. You love to spend time seeking the Lord on their behalf. And they may not even be fully aware of the many times that you've taken time aside to pray and seek the Lord on behalf of ones, and that you really believe in the power of prayer. And I had a sense that the Lord is going to cause there to be greater understanding of the assignments that he's given to you to pray through.
Jenna from California. Jenna, I see you walking on a path where there's like those stones that you can step on, like through a garden or something, when people will lay them down. And we know that the Bible says the steps of a good man or a good woman are ordered of the Lord. And I'm seeing you just walk on those stones. And I believe there's a couple of things God is speaking to you. He is directing your steps. But secondly, you have gained from others that you've rubbed shoulders with, and there has been a rich deposit of God within you.
Well, we want to thank you all for joining us tonight here on our live and thinking about, how we talked about more towards the beginning, just all the different things that have happened this week alone.
Yeah.
And how the Lord just brings people together at a time to talk about what he's done. It's pretty amazing.
It is amazing.
And to keep that at the forefront of conversation and to love well, to love one another just as he has loved us. It's a gift.
It is a gift.
And we love you guys. Thank you for joining us here. And we will see you same time, same place next week, Lord willing.
Yes.
We'll see you next time.